Just like Napoleon had learned over a century before, Russia's winter is no joke. I mean, German soldiers who'd been told they'd be home by Christmas were stuck in minus 40-degree weather. And they don't have the modern technology we have now to stay warm in these, frigid temperatures. Even for the time, they didn't have the proper gear. Tanks wouldn't start, the weapons froze, the soldiers got frostbite, everything was just kind of going to shit. Meanwhile, as the Germans pushed deeper into Soviet territory, they thought they were closing in on a quick victory, but the Soviets weren't retreating, they were strategically falling back. And as they did, they implemented the brutal scorched earth, blowing up railways, burning crops, destroying factories, anything that could be potentially useful to the Germans, they were destroying. Entire towns were emptied and torched. It wasn't just tactical, it was personal. If the Nazis wanted the land, they'd get frozen and they would starve. Just as things were starting to fall apart on the Eastern Front, another bombshell, literally, December 7th, 1941, Japan bombs Pearl Harbor, flying planes kamikaze directly into a military base, dragging the United States into the war. Now you'd think Hitler would have taken this as a chance to kind of pause and reassess, but nope. In one of the dumbest strategic decisions of the war, he voluntarily declared war on the United States a few days later. Why? Because he assumed Japan would return the favor by declaring war on the Soviet Union, which they didn't. Instead, Hitler just handed the Allies a superpower with the world's largest industrial capacity, oceans of resources and manufacturing, and above all, freedom. So, by the end of 1941, Hitler wasn't just bogged down by the Russian winter, he's now fighting a true world war against the three most powerful Allied nations, the Britain, the Soviets, and the United States. And fortunately, as we know, it doesn't end well. But while World War II is raging across Europe, something darker is unfolding behind the front lines, something that many people around the world weren't fully aware of, something Hitler had hinted at for years, but the world had failed to fully grasp: genocide. His anti-Semitic rhetoric had moved beyond propaganda, and now there was a blueprint for this mass murder. At first, Jews were singled out with laws and social isolation. The Nuremberg laws stripped German Jews of their citizenship and forbade them from marrying non-Jews. Across occupied territories, Jews were basically forced to wear these yellow stars of David so that they could be easily identified. Their jobs, homes, their rights are fundamentally taken away. And many were forced into ghettos. This is literally just a place where they kind of put them in like this open-air prison, sealed, overcrowded urban zones. The Warsaw Ghetto is a very famous one. And in these ghettos, starvation, disease, and despair were rampant. But as the war progressed, Nazi policy escalated in kind. By 1941, mobile killing squads known as the Einsatzgruppen followed the German army into Eastern Europe. They rounded up Jews and communists and the Roma people and others that they deemed as undesirable and marched them into forests or fields and just executed them at mass.